Alright, so after the AJ Puck trade yesterday night, just a few hours later, the biggest move so far broke, and that is the trade of Randy Arozarena to the Seattle Mariners. Seattle needs bats, and Tampa Bay was going to sell. I mean, they're not very good. Arozarena was probably always going to be traded. He's one of the names that have been brought up all year. Seattle, I did not expect him to go to Seattle, though. I mean, I looked at his stats. They're not nothing too special. But to be fair, he hasn't really gotten hot till really like the past month or so. He's hit for like a 924 OPS over the past month after starting with like a 140 average and like a 500 on base. Not on base, 500 OPS. I mean, I don't hate this move for Seattle. He's got 2 years of control. He still hits bombs. He's still got power. He's got a 712 OPS right now, and that's after being ridiculously hot. Seattle is where a lot of hitters go to die, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna be expecting from Arozarena out of T-Mobile Park. If he can stay hot, that could be huge for Seattle. That could take some stress off guys like Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh. Man, their lineup's been absolutely stripped down to the bare minimum. They have I think they still have JP Crawford. I think they have Polanco. They don't have many bats at all. They have one of the best pitching staffs ever, yet they can't seem to score. They've scored the third least amount of runs this entire season. I mean, that's insane. The only teams who have scored less, I believe, is Miami in Chicago. They've only scored 390 runs, which it sounds like a lot, but every other team has scored 400 plus. The A's have scored 432 runs. Seriously. They needed a bat, so I get it. Let's look at his Baseball Savant page. He doesn't hit triples. I mean, you can look at the page, see no triples. He's a mainly pull hitter, which it'll help him out in Seattle, I guess. But going the opposite way in Seattle, that can help a lot. He barely goes opposite way. 3 opposite field home runs, 3 doubles, 4 singles. Actually, no, 4 doubles, yeah. And then everything else is basically pulled to the left side of the field. Let's take a look at his stats. He has 74 hits, not good, but to be fair, started off unreal, league hold. 15 home runs pop, still there. 16 stolen bases, that's still very good. He's probably still going to steal 25 plus. 211 average, not where you want it, but he's been hot. 318 on base, not where you want it, but he's been hot, like I said. 394 slug, what do you know, he's been hot. 712 OPS, that's not terrible with how the league's been doing this year with the dead ball. But 712, I mean, that's not that good for the package that came over. The package that came over was honestly an insane package in my opinion. I'll talk about that in a minute. Batting run value 25, which very poor, but again, I'm just going to keep saying it. He's been hot. Base running value, he's still been an average base runner. Fielding run value, he's a terrible fielder. That's something I will see. He's awful. So there's some red. He walks a ton, but he struggles with swing and misses and whiffs. Doesn't really get the sweet spot. Expected batting average is not much better than what his average is, so I can't really give him much there. I mean, there's just not much that's good. He whiffs a lot. Never mind. Forget what I said. He doesn't chase, but he whiffs. I read that wrong. He's got above average bat speed, hard hit, barrel, average velocity, xWOBA. I mean, he's still not a terrible player. Sprint speed, he's still above average. 28 feet per second. I mean, it all could be worse. Seattle, though, some of the stuff might go down because he's been red hot for a while. This past week, though, has been the hottest he's been in the past month, so he could still be on an incline. He's played 6 seasons, which is surprising because I thought he still had 2 years of control. That could have been wrong, I believe he has control through the 2026 season, and then after, no more control after that. But I could be wrong. So he's still got a couple of years. I think he's going to play similar to how Teoscar Hernandez played in Seattle, which I just don't believe Seattle is the right place for a guy like Randy Arozarena. But, now I'll talk about the package that was actually traded for him. So we have the Mariners' number 12 and number 22 prospect, Aiden Smith and Brody Hopkins. Smith is, I believe, a 4th rounder from last year. He's an outfielder. So far this season in A-ball, he's hitting like 280 something. He has an 870 something OPS. But what really stands out is his ability to get on base. He's a 402 on base this year, which no matter at what level, very impressive. And then you have their number 22 prospect, Brody Hopkins. He's a starting pitcher, 6th rounder last season. He's a little bit older. What do I say about Brody Hopkins? He struggles with walks, above average strikeouts. He's got a 1.22 whip, so not the worst on the planet. 2.9 ERA, that's pretty good. All at A-ball, I believe. And then, finally, the most powerful thing in sports, the player to be named later. So, who knows, Seattle could trade over just somebody random for the player to be named later, but I don't know. The prospect haul is pretty good. Both guys have potential. They've shown what they can do so far, but it's only at A-ball, so this could end up in two ways. Arozarena sucks, the prospects are great. Or the prospects suck and Arozarena is great. I mean, if Arozarena goes over there, hits what he's been doing, like 280 with a 900 OPS, for a little bit longer, Seattle can be really catapulted back into the contender scene. I mean, I can't believe Houston took him over in the first place. Like, seriously. Honestly, if I were to give this trade a grade, it's such a tough one because you see his numbers, but he's been so hot over the past month. I gotta land probably on a B tier trade because it was a good haul for the Rays, but you also gave up the main bat in your lineup besides Isaac Paredes. So yeah, I'd give it a B trade. I'm surprised. I'm not really. I knew the Rays were probably going to sell. But Arozarena's still got years of control. I mean, they're capitalizing on his huge hot streak. I feel like they could have maybe gotten more. The prospects they got were good. But, they're still progressing. They're still only in A-ball, so it's going to be a couple of years before Tampa ever sees them. But if Tampa makes a trade, you better be careful. Because if Tampa likes a trade that they're doing, that means that you're losing the trade. I don't get why anybody trades with Tampa Bay. All they do is make trades that benefit them. There was the Isaac Paredes, Austin Meadows trade. At the time, we looked at it like it was the dumbest trade ever. And now it's the smartest trade ever. And then before that, there's many others. I can't get into that right now, but I don't hate it. B trade for both teams, I'd say. Last video, I did not see the trade haul for AJ Puck, but I just said that it was a B+ trade for both teams because whatever they got, it's still probably worth it. But yeah, I feel like the AJ Puck trade was the domino, and now it's set it off. The Arozarena trade, now everybody's going to start flying off the board with, I believe, only 4 days left till the deadline, which is super surprising with me. I'm surprised no team has really made any moves before today. That was the floodgates. Now everybody's going to start going. I think Crochet's going to still come off the board. Tanner Scott, Jazz Chisholm Jr. People are saying Tariq Skubal might be traded, but I doubt it. He's the type of pitcher you build rosters out of. You build championship-winning stuff out of guys like Tariq Skubal. I mean, I don't see it happening. This trade, you know what? it's a whatever. The Mariners gave up good prospects. I applaud that they're trying to win, but if they don't pass Houston, I don't know how they're going to make a wild card spot. Simply because there's some good wild card teams this year. New York's good, Boston's good, Minnesota's good, Kansas City's good, and then who knows, one of those two AL Central teams might take over Cleveland. So you never know. It's going to be tough unless they win the division. I think this could be one of those moves that completely turn the tides of their season. Because if he goes in there hot, Randy Arozarena has some of the best vibes in the league. If he goes in there hot, they could go on a huge run, but I think they need more than Arozarena. I think they need guys on their team to start playing like themselves again. But, you know, good enough trade. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll be back with the next trade news. Each video will probably get better because this is my first time doing this style of video. So, you know, it's not perfect yet, but I'm still figuring it out. I'll see you all next time.